Space Jam: The Final Frontier. Shaq's Kermit alarm clock rang with its heavy chips as always. Wake up, you gold bond, Alco said. We've got a game to win. Shaq made an uncomfortable face as he gets dressed in his new jersey and runs out of his house like a dysfunctional nun, and hopped on a taxi driven by Bunu to school. He begins playing Pokemon Go and catches the rock, but not before he had to use 4 Old Spice balls because Old Spice is so powerful it can catch the rock. As Shaq arrives, he pulsates his pecs and his hands got clammy. The 2 team leaders subtly winked at him as he penetrated the double doors and walked to the rest of his team. Shaq walked down the court, escorted by Alco. He saw all of his friends, acquaintances, frogs, crabs, dictators, and other people he met with. They all looked at him with a hopeful look. It was up to Shaq and his team to save the school from cringe. When Shaq got to the end of the crowd, he met his other teammates, Mick Frizzleby, Man in a Kermit the Frog suit, Johnny Bravo, and Shadow. The 5 of them, and Coach Lewis, then had a group huddle on the far end of the court. "All right, I think I hear a chocolate bar calling," said Doc. "Ugh, this is no time for your jokes, Doc," Shadow said loud enough for the others to hear. "Get it together, you guys. We have Johnny Bravo and Shaquille O'Neal himself on our basketball team, and they don't even stand a chance." Johnny Bravo gave her a glazed look in his eye. "Lady, we may have my friend Shaq and yours truly on our side, but..." He paused for a second. "That's just about it. No offense, lady, but you're a bee. A bee! How are we supposed to play with a literal bee? Not to mention there's also an edgy hedgehog thing and a weird man in a lizard outfit," Johnny said. "That's Kermit the Frog suit to you, Johnny," Man said, slightly offended. Whoa, calm down, everybody," Shaq started. "Now, I know we haven't had any practice whatsoever, and our team consists of the Frizz, Man, and Johnny, my main dough shizzle. Don't you see? We're unique," Shaq said. "What do you mean by that?" Shadow said. "We have Mick Frizzleby's flight, which makes her quick and nimble. We have me, generally good at basketball. We have Shadow's chaos power and his edgy powers. Man's Kermit the Frog suit and mind games. Doc, the best coach in the world, and Johnny." "What exactly do you bring to the table?" Shaq stated. "Well, this is insulting. I can't believe my closest friend would be oblivious to my greatest talent, having a pompadour." "Okay, let's all go get pompadours so we can look cool while I get some dunks," said Johnny. The team then put their hands in the middle and shouted, "You go and get 'em, donkey." They then went onto the court in their positions. They all had their eager faces.
Dutchy Flyman sat in his announcer booth and waited for the teams to show up while drinking a vegan shake and howling. Shaq and his team piled in like weenie goers on Weenie Hut Wednesdays. From across the room, Nolan looked at Shaq and had his posse hold up a sign that said "blocked." Shaq tinkled himself at the sight of Nolan's horrible ugliness, and Sheen blared out, "Dude, put that thing away! There are like children here!" Burning the ears of those same children. Shaq remembered his father's advice and then heard the words of Doc. "Hit 'em, baby. You got it all figured out." Nolan sneaked around while wearing a Squishward Tannis mask to the nut Shaq's side. He subtly rips the head of Man in a Kermit the Frog suit off, leaving his balding head exposed. "I'm exposed!" He runs in the bathroom, crying and singing, "Am I a man or am I a Muppet?" Seeing his reflection showing a Kermit in a human skin suit. Mick Frizzleby is dribbling the ball like a nun with epilepsy. Her tiny hands pulsate because she is so tiny, and her muscles need to fluxate 420 times a minute to dribble a single time. Suddenly, she saw an evil grin come from Yuki on the cringe side. "What's she up to?" Mick Frizzles then sees Yuki take out a steel cage with Nicolas Cage inside. Why is it in a cage? MTP asks Yuki. It tried to bite me, Yuki responded. You guys would never survive in the Navy, said MTP. Not the Navy, Yuki sang/screamed as she let Nicolas Cage out of the cage. Nicolas Cage then ran over to McFrizzle, scaring her away by screaming, Not the bees! This scared McFrizzle off the court entirely. Oh no, those guys are playing dirty. Shaq then peered over at Yuki again, who released another animal from a cage. This creature was in fact Crab Nicholson, who went into a scuttle with Boris. They just ran around pinching each other vigorously. Later they got tired, made up, and left the game to go to grab a drink at the Yuck Yuck Hut so they could watch the game in HD on the crappy bar TV that was actually a security camera. On the other side of the court, Shadow gets reported by Nolan for having too many guns. Meow Police arrives, and then Shadow gets taken to the admin car.
After the report accost, Nolan approached Johnny with a Grinch-like smile and said, You want to see something amazing? He hands him a mirror. Wow. He calls 911. Hello, police. There's a devilishly handsome man in our high school. He looks in the mirror again. Never mind, it's me. The police arrive anyways and arrest him for prank calling the police, and he is forced to give the officers pompadours and dating advice. Nolan crawls like Wii Fit trainer towards Shaquille. Hey, Shaq, look at this potato, Shaq. Shaquille turns to Nolan and utters the words out of his utter flab of lips. What? Another Shaq OC? We'd better fuse. They fuse into potato Shaquille, the ultimate life form, except it's just Shaquille in a sack. Gotcha now. Nolan squealed as he tied the sack, now to win. There was less than a minute till the match was going to start. Where is everyone? Batroy uttered. I don't know. There is no time. The round starts in 30 seconds, Cringe Master stated. Doc Lewis then handed the mic to Dutchy Flyman. Hit him, baby, he said while patting him on the trapezius muscles for good luck. Ladies and gentlemen and other creatures, we welcome you to the deciding basketball game between the Cringe and the Memes, Dutchy said. The crowd cheered. I love you, Timmy, you're my favorite, some fan at the wrong stadium yelled. Today we will witness the greatest Space Jam in all of history. Let me introduce to you, the Meme Team. All the Meme OCs cheer, while the cringy Meverse users booed. Introducing, he started. He had to rephrase because just then he noticed the main team was missing. And he didn't know any of the backup members' names. Introducing. Edgy Kermit, crap me. Dwayne and Shadow's daughter. Dark Dwayne. The most beautiful creature I've ever seen. Portuguese Manor. Bootleg Johnny with a red pompadour, George. And finally, the team leader, NBA All-Star, Shaquille O'Neal. You got that last one correct.
The crowd goes wild. What? But I just kidnapped Sha, Nolan said. That's right, Sha said. You kidnapped Sha and Keel, said Keel. Get double pranked, they simultaneously said, running away. Nolan looked like a steam vegetable, only more gay. And now, the Cringe Team members! The Meme Team booed, while the Cringe Team cheered like Jack Algoric when he coughed up Pepsi and screeched like a chimpanzee. Introducing Marcus L., Phantasma, Michael, a user with the name of Sans, because he represents everyone who has a Sans me, which is like a fourth of Meverse, and the Cringe Master himself, I'm offended, Cringe Master said, Nolan. There were boos and cheers in the crowd. You're going down, Tubby, Nolan said to Shaq. Oh, please, man up, Shaq said, tossing the ball at his frontal lobe. Ouch, why'd you click my face? Nolan said like a baby. The round started, and as Dutchy announced, all right, everyone, welcome to the Space Jam, he said as Silva began to play Space Jam. The rivalry begins. 10 minutes to second period. Score 0-0. Phantasma decided to be cringy and said, Nyan we start the match, referee? John Cena yelled from the crowd. You even make crickets look bad, and I would know because I was in the advertisement for Cricket Wireless. Everyone began to vigorously laugh. Phantasma wanted to yeah his comment to make it seem like she wasn't salty, but they looked at the yeah button, and it was covered in finely ground sea salt.
The ref then said the match has already started. You spent too long trying to think of a dumb cat joke to notice. Shaq dunks the ball as Phantasma turned around, and Nolan walks up to her, angrily saying, Phantasma, you were supposed to guard against Shaq. My nyad, she said. Shut up and Get back in the game, Nolan said. Phantasma didn't say anything because she couldn't think of any dumb puns. 8 minutes to second period. Score 2-0. Shaq gets another dunk. 6 minutes to second period. 4-0. Nolan decides to perform a Shaq attack and trips Shaq. Shaq gets a free throw, but because he is awful at free throws, it bounces off the rim and bounces directly off Nolan's face, then it bounces off his face into Nolan's hoop. Nolan decides that said free throw was lucky, trips Shaq again, and he does another free throw. He throws it with one hand, it bounces off of the rim, off of the scoreboard, off of Nolan's face, and into Nolan's hoop. 4 minutes to second period, score 10-0. Nolan accidentally trips and the ball hits a random spot in the wall, and it goes right into Shaq's hoop. Nolan repeats this exploit to get a massive lead. He called the strategy the sweet spot. I give up, said Shaq as he called a timeout. During the timeout, the Nut Shack discusses everything down to how many beads of sweat are on Shaq's supple head. This takes so long that the old ref quit and they had to hire a new one. His name was Carl, and he interrupted the huddle by saying, let's just go to halftime so the audience has something to watch. Are you going to finish talking by then? The Nut Shack nods, then Carl makes a weird chewing noise.
Halftime score 10-72. During the halftime show, they had a terrific lineup of fireworks lined up, including Dwayne and Dark Dwayne. Sadly, Bert couldn't participate as his reflex was to duck and cover immediately at the sight of these living explosives. Dwayne sees a Necco on the Cringe team and hastily responds with, "Ew, a Necco!" And he explodes with both direction and magnitude. Vector in the crowd, pelvic thrusts through a wall and all the way through. "Oh yeah!" echoes through the wall. Suddenly, from the dust arrives a note. Shaq picks up the note with his clammy hands. Wait a minute, this says... I can't read. Here, you try. Sheen takes the note and begins to read. It says to-do list step. The note is instantly ripped out of his hands immediately. Here, I can read it, says Tire Fire as he picks up the note and instantly burns it because he's a tepig. Suddenly, Nolan drops the backup note and Dwayne says, Hey, I can read. I'm in 5th grade, says the smoldering pile of ashes. He clears his non-existent throat. It says to do list step 1, get muscles. Step 2, get milk. Step 3, get muscly and get into the salty spittoon. Step 4, sabotage the Nut Shack. Nolan has a flashback of his attempt to get into the salty spittoon. I'm sorry, no gays allowed, Hitter said, followed by a, we only take the master race here. Aryans, I think you know you'd be better off there. He points across the street. Nolan replied with, Mussolini had generals. The flashback ends. Suddenly, Shaq had a realization. Nolan sabotaged our team. He put on his eager face and said, Everyone split up. We need to find them before halftime ends. Just then, Constantine went looking for men in a Kermit the Frog suit. He heard a moist sobbing from the bathroom, followed by, Am I a man or am I a Muppet? Constantine bursts through the door and hastily screeches, You are a Muppet. Man rips off his Kermit suit, then his man suit, then another Kermit suit, then another man suit. This process repeats 69 times until all that remains is a man roughly the size of Shaq's abs. Wait a second. He rips off that suit to reveal his true form, Fozzie Bear. He quickly scuttled to the exit and back to the gym.
Back in the gym, Lenny, Dylan, and George were all wondering where they had taken Shadow and Johnny. Wait a minute. I saw police sirens outside earlier. Let's check there. They arrive at the police station to see Johnny forcefully giving the officers pompadours. Don't worry, I'll take your place. He dyes his pompadour blonde. They won't notice. Now go back and win us that match. Over at the front desk, the officers are handcuffing Shadow when suddenly Dylan and Lenny burst in. Hand him over, Dylan said. Meow Police responded with an atrocious cat pun. Nope, get out now. Get out. Lenny runs over, kicks him to the ground, and grabs a stapler. Now we are going to make sure you stay tired. He staples his nips to the ground and grabs Shadow. Let's go win a match. Hop on, Dylan said in a police car he stole. Back in the school, everyone was still looking for Mick Frizzleby. Suddenly, Doc Louise noticed Mick Frizzleby. He pondered for a minute, and then his brain cracked a juicy light bulb. He texted his brother, who soon called him. I think I hear Huey Lewis calling. He picked up and told him to come down to the stadium as soon as possible. 4 seconds later, Huey Lewis bursts through the wall. I think I hear my brother Doc Louise calling, he shouts. Bro, you got it all figured out, Doc said while smiling. Then Huey Lewis grabbed a microphone and a camera which he could get uncomfortably close to. He sang directly at both Nicks the entire Hip to Fuck Bees song. Nicolas Cage says, "Not the bees!" and runs through a wall to escape. And Crab Nicholson pinches Boris in his left butt cheek, making it pulsate slightly. "We will bury you," he says, scuttling back into his cage. Silva nods his head in approval of the song. Mick Frizzle then runs back to the court. "Thanks, coach," she shouts at Doc. "Hit 'em, baby," Doc shouts back at the b-ball players. As halftime was coming to a close, Nolan turned to Shaq and said, "You can't beat us as long as I have my sweet spot." Just then, Vector pelvic thrusts through the sweet spot and screams, "Oh yeah!"
Shaq replied with, "I guess your sweet spot is now your sweat spot." Nolan screeches like a baboon and the match resumes. "Alright, halftime's over, let's go," Cringe Master said. Nolan just mumbled to himself as he trotted back to the court. The meme team was now back, and Shadow mocked Nolan by singing "Crawling in My Skin." Nolan just blocked his ears and got into position. Don't let Nya you down, Tasma, Nya, Phantasma said, trying to cheer him up. "That pun didn't even make any sense. Just do us all a favor and kill yourself," Nolan said in rage. "You're right. My life is a lie. A big, meaty lie." She cries as she gets a cup of water to drink, but she forgets she is allergic to water, so she dies. 4 left. "Oh, for Christ's sake, Marcusel," said Marcusel. She then turns her melon-shaped head. "Oh my gosh, a floating basketball." Turns out the basketball wasn't floating. It was being carried by Mick Frizzleby. She dunks it several times. Later, Man in a Kermit the Frog suit passes the ball to Shaq, but unfortunately there's a sweat-in from Yokai in the room. And Shaq slips on the sweat and the ball flings into Shaq's hoop. "Aw dang," Shaq said. Meanwhile, in the crowd,
"Max, smooth my leg hair," said Smoothie. Max then smoothed his leg hair. It's days like these that I wish I were at home watching the Thundermans, because I have no idea what actual teenagers act like." "Kill me," said Smoothie. ... said Max. "Less judging, more smoothing," said Smoothie. "Yes, I think I'll be the judge here, Smoothie McLeghair," said Judge Clouk, eavesdropping on them. "Oh, so now the talking Clouk is gonna preach to us," Smoothie replied. "Hey, settle the hell down. And secondly, I sexually identify as a Judge Clouk." "Thank you very much," said the judge. "And I sexually identify as a taxi driver," said Bunu, piping in. Bunu then got in his taxi that he parked in the stands and drove away. "He sexually identifies as a man bikini," said Jamie Heineman, referring to Carl. "That's mama bikini to you, Jamie," Carl said. "Well, myth busted," said Jamie. Hey, Marcusel said. She stopped caring about the game to talk about her Tumblr genders. "Guys, none of these are genders. Do you even go on Tumblr? Lol," she said. "Wait, then how am I a talking man bikini?" Carl said. Everyone sitting around him nodded and said, "Yeah. I can explain. It's cannot compute non-Tumblr logic detected. Insert 5 chips to continue. Supple.exe has stopped working. Don't get juices. 667 all hail Elmo's chin. Ha 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 ha. Kill me. Self-destruct initiated." Marcusel explodes and so does Dwayne. 3 left, a voice said to himself. Back in the court, Shadow scissor kicks himself to the hoop and gets a dunk. Man in a Kermit the Frog suit is just on the floor doing nothing. Oh wait, that's just his suit. He was actually a tiny hatless Fozzie Bear getting dunks that nobody knew about the whole time.
Over by the refreshments table that Snass is manning, Sans takes a break to get some carrot juice. "Pfft, give me some juice, Junior," Sans said, mildly insulting Snass. "Drink up. You'll need lots of it to fuel your cancer tanks," Snass sickly roasted him. "Hey, I'd watch it if I were you, cashier, or you're gonna have a bad time," Sans said. "Your edgy lettering can't offend me. Oh, and by the way, that carrot juice is from Vincent's pecs," Snass replied. Sans spit it all over the floor. "This carrot has 3 Vincent pimples in it. That's an odd number," Sans yelled. "Not my problem. I'm just the cashier," Snass said. His war elephant sat on someone while dying of laughter. "That's it. You're gonna have a bad time because I'm the easiest enemy in the game." "Lies," Sans said, angered. "Bring it on, old man! Bring it on!" Snass yelled. "No, people. Let's bring it off," Gibby said. "Shut up, you fat fuck," Sans said. Gibby replied with, "Gibby!" before attacking him with a sock full of butter. Sans immediately died. Oh, I guess he really did die instantly. Well, thanks, Gibmaster, he said. Gibby, said Gibby. Two left, said KS. Back on the court, nobody could find the b-ball, and McPherson didn't have it. Where's the damn ball? Nolan screeched. Yo, Johnny, have you seen the ball? Shaq started. Johnny simply covered Shaq's mouth and pointed at his pompadour. Oh, said Shaq. Johnny lifted the ball from his pompadour and dunked the ball. Get dunked on, Johnny said, high-diving Shaq. They both stare at the spot that Sands would have been. Michael was failing at dribbling the ball because his arms were scrawny, leadless pencils, and he is a soccer player. He was so bad that Donald Trump ranted about him and was supported for it. Just then, Taneshi and Smiled Crane walk up to Michael. Taneshi didn't say anything and then sucked his soul out with a straw. Smiled Crane made a Blade and Soul 30 joke. Triggered, Vincent the Cannon said. He then fired a cannonball at Michael. Taneshi turned into Omega Mosby and flew out of the stadium. One left, said KISI.
The score is 6-6-5 to 6-6-0. Shaq calls a huddle. Alright, guys. We just need one more dunk. I'm going on offense. The rest of you need to stay on defense. The match resumes as Nolan is standing 23 feet away, all of which have hairy toe knuckles from Shaq. Alright, team, defend. They form a circle around Nolan, enclosing him. One of us. One of us. One of us. They all said, slowly approaching him. Shaq began to approach the hoop for the final dunk. Suddenly, everything went in slow-mo. It's the high-speed camera, Jamie cried out. That's Mama Bikini to you, Carl squeezed out. At least you aren't Chris, Toby oozed out. At least you aren't me, Chris flexed out. Smooth my leg hair, Smoothie smoothed out. Are you going to finish that croissant? Carl out. Get crock blocked. M9, uttered Mr. Cracker. You can do it, blasted out blarted out Blartson. Hit him, baby, Doc jizzed out. Wake up, you old spite, his mother mommed out. There's power in numbers, Jack Monkey Soul spewed out. Power! Terry spiced out, stormed through his man bikini, and Shaq put it on midair. You can't make perfection, but you can moisturize it. Shaq slammed out while slamming the ball into the hoop. Hoopla! Cheered the meme team. Shaq approached Nolan to shake his hand. Then the two reached out, and then psych! Nolan cried out while reaching into his pocket and pulling out a gun, aiming it at Shaq. Alright, nobody move or Shaq will keel over and die. Just then, a 2-foot rainbow statue fell from the spotlight, killing Nolan. Then, dropping down, came Klidgy. Chris ran over and caressed the statue. You're welcome, Klidgy said, receding like my hairline into the floor. 7 months later. Oh, wait. I know what happened to the enemy team. Klidgy took them out. Sheen screeched like a banshee. Sheen, everyone said in a very generic 80s TV show fashion. The rivalry ends. The end. Or was it? Yeah, it's the end. Hi, Avery.